As a black female body child, I experienced racism. As a black tomboy preteen, I experienced racism. As a black queer teenager, I experienced racism. As a black young trans man, I experienced racism. But nothing prepared me for the racism I would experience as a black man. All Black lives matter. What's up? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, I know it's been a rough couple of months, but I hope everybody is holding up well. I've been trying to do a video on this channel for a while. Finally just made myself take the time to do it. So we finna get into some books. Let's do it. So the first book that I read was White Fragility. I read this for several reasons. Our county administrator sent out an email saying how she read this and she recommends it. And then also it was a blackout buddy read. And I had it. I mean, I had no excuse not to read it. And plus, once I read what it was about and I knew that I wasn't the target audience, it kind of made me want to read it more. Especially like right now, we are like inviting people to talk about race and ask questions. I felt like this would help me prepare for those conversations. You know what I mean? I want to be prepared. And I felt this would be profitable. And it was. In the foreword, she quoted Beyonce. I was like, okay, that's a good start. Not often that I read a book where us and we doesn't include me. So it was like, oh, that was different. That's a kind of different feel. It was like I was sneaking into a meeting I wasn't invited to. You know what I mean? I was like listening from a corner and getting all the secrets and stuff. Yeah, that's exactly how I took it. I was in a meeting that I wasn't invited to, getting all the scoop. There were 4 times in this book that if I was sitting in a meeting, I'm pretty sure I would have blew my cover. One of the parts I probably would have put out a hallelujah or a yeah was the Jackie Robinson part. We celebrate that Jackie Robinson broke the color lines and was the first black in the major leagues, when the headlines could have said or should have said Jackie Robinson, the first black man allowed to be in the major leagues. So that it's not said as if he was the first black man with the skills to make it. He was just the first one allowed to, you know what I mean? I don't know, I thought that was a strong statement. Another part I would have threw out another amen for when she was telling the story of the little girl who was like, "Mommy, that man's skin is black." And the mom was like, shh, and all like embarrassed and stuff like that. And so she was saying how the first thing that we're taught as a child is we can't talk about racism. It's like, shh, don't say that, you know what I mean? And the second thing is to ignore the obvious difference. You know, she notices black skin. What if that kid was like, "Mommy, her skin is white"? And they'll probably just laugh it off or whatever. Or if they said, "Mom, he's handsome," they will laugh it off because they take that as a compliment. But if they was like, "Oh, Mommy, his skin is black," all of a sudden it's like this bad thing. Like, why is it a bad thing? You know? Good point. Another one, the just people part. When she was saying how we're just people, I noticed that in our local newspaper, it'd be like, black man, this, and this. Mexican man, this and this and this. Or Hispanic, whatever. But when it comes to white people, it's just 32-year-old male. I'm just like, so I felt that. My favorite part of this whole book was the anti-blackness section. Yeah, she went in. I felt like she was being so blunt. I felt bad for the people in this meeting that wasn't me. You know what I mean? But I felt good. I felt happy that she was saying it. So I just was like, yeah. Looking at everybody's faces and they was all butthurt. I think I'm just imagining too much. But you understand what I'm saying. And how she ended it with like, never stop learning, you know what I mean? Learn more, and encouraging other people to just keep it going. I think if people actually read this book, like truly read this book, and share this book, I mean, I think there's hope, you know what I mean? This is a hopeful book. Alright, so the grade I'm gonna give this is a B-. Yeah. Nice. White Fragility. The next book that I read was Tears We Cannot Stop by Michael Dyson. I read this at the same time as Write Fragility because I like to get that balance. And what was really dope about this is that they were on the same page. So Tears We Cannot Stop is basically a sermon to white people is what really it is. But how that one's by a white woman, this is by a black dude, so you get to see both sides of it. And I thought, at the same time, that worked for me. Just like White Fragility, he was mentioning how people who say, I don't see color, I just see people, they also don't see their racial responsibility. Michael Dyson, he says his objective is to challenge one brain and one body at a time. No, but one of my favorite quotes in here, he says, justice is what love sounds like when it speaks in public. I was like, that's right. I really like the format of this book. I'm a PK. I say it all the time. I'm a PK, and it's a sermon, literally. It starts with the opening scripture. It has the sermon, has the benediction, has the offering. It has a prelude, and then it has a closing prayer. So it's like literally like a church service. He was saying this whole problem won't end until white people see themselves as black people. If they exercise their civil imagination and truly, truly think about it, things will change. Another thing I love about this book and about Dyson in general is he's always inclusive. You know what I mean? With him, I know all Black Lives Matter. He always mentions everybody. This book was understandable. It was current. It was good. I enjoyed it. I would give Tears We Cannot Stop a B+. So the third book that I read was What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker. I'm part of a Black Men Read book club, and this was our book selection last month. It's about 16 essays, basically his experience of growing up as a black man. There are about 4 of these essays that really stood out to me. The first one was Nigga Fight Story. He was talking about how everybody he knew had a nigga fight story, meaning a time where someone called you the N-word and you had to box them up, right? And he was saying how he was jealous that he didn't have one because his mama had one, his daddy, he said his cousins, his friends. Everybody had a nigga fight story but him. Most people I know do have a nigga fight story. I ain't got one though. Another essay that I really enjoyed was called 3 Niggas. It's his opinion on who should and shouldn't say the N-word. It's funny, he talks about down-ass white boys, but this one down-ass white boy, when they was in a barbershop one time, dropped the N-word 3 times. And on that 3rd time, they was like. Another thing he mentioned in that essay is when black people could say the N-word, like when it's appropriate. He was saying how he knew Oprah did not like the use of that word. So if he was ever to meet Oprah, he would not say that word around her. But as soon as he leaves, he gonna call his friend and be like, nigga, you know who I just met? Oh, I thought it was funny. Another one is Living While Black, which is more of a serious essay, and it was dealing with the death of his mother. Now his mother got cancer, and how he felt if she was white, perhaps things would have been different. And the reason that I picked this one is because I too felt this a lot when my dad was sick. During his process, a lot of the attention wasn't given to him because he didn't have the money needed or because he was black. That's just how I feel. I can't say if he was white he'll still be here, but I sort of felt like he would have been here longer, I guess. I found that essay sadly relatable. So the last essay that really spoke to me was Thursday Night Hoops. Thursday Night Hoops, he tells about how he goes and plays basketball with these white boys and how it's cool to just go there, don't worry about anything, and just play basketball. One time he goes there and he hears them saying something, I guess, about a Trump rally that they support him, basically. And it was something that he didn't want to know because he didn't want to have to treat them different. And the reason I picked this one as one of the essays that spoke to me is because that's how I feel at work for the most part. It was like he was trying to keep everything nice and simple and generic, nothing too deep, because then sort of forced to conversate about something that you're not comfortable with. It's like, I don't really want to know the opinions of my coworkers because I don't want to feel a certain way about them. But that's not always the right way to go about it. It's a missed opportunity for a conversation that should have happened. It's crazy. I too am learning to talk about race. I'm always trying to encourage people to read more. And now more than ever, and one of the main excuses is, I can't, it's too many big words, the book is too long, I can't get into it, it's over my head. If you are a black man and you want to get into the habit of reading, this is a great starter. I always feel like essays is a great way to start that reading habit. He's down to earth, he's on our level. Alright, so that's What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker. And I am going to give this book a B+. Moving on, we have All Boys Aren't Blue. This is another memoir and essays. It starts at his childhood and goes throughout his college years. It's essays about growing up black and queer. Throughout the essays, he deals with gender identity, his first experience, about toxic masculinity, family, black love, brotherhood, family structure, things of that sort. A majority of what he experienced, I experienced. Not all of it and not exactly, but most of it. This is my story. Of course, it was my story 20-something years ago, but it's still my story. I found this book to be the most relatable, from the beginning all the way to the end. I knew I didn't fit society's standards. I struggle with my identity. I know the power of your name. I have my own honey child story. I know how it is to feel forced to play certain sports or be part of certain activities. When he was telling the cowboy boot story, how everyone was choosing cross-colored shoes and whoop, and he chose boots. That's this guy. Just like him, I felt really, really blessed to have a family that was so open and accepting. He mentioned that what he was always trying to hide was actually the one thing people noticed about him as soon as he walked in the room. That's how it was. When I finally told my family about myself, they was like, yeah, we knew that. This has definitely been one of my favorite reads of the year. It has some sad parts, but it wasn't completely depressing. I felt this actually ended on a positive note. I am going to give All Boys Aren't Blue an A-. Definitely my favorite of the group. Last book I read, Hurricane Child. I saw this on several people's TBR for the Caribathon, I believe. And it also mixed in with the queer thing. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Exactly. So this is about 12-year-old Kheryn. She was born during a hurricane, which is supposed to be unlucky, and she's always felt unlucky. In school, she's being bullied, and she's just not having a good time. And on top of everything, her mom up and bounced on her. So the main part of this story to me seems to be her wanting to find out why her mom left. Just wanting to know that she wasn't abandoned. And on top of her mother leaving her, she hallucinates. I don't know if hallucinate's the right word. She imagines things. And at one point she starts to even question her own existence. Like, am I really real? Am I really alive? So a new girl named Callender starts at her school, and she's really nice to Kheryn. And they get really close. Kheryn starts to crush on Callender. I like that Callender had her back. Even when she did not want to go with Kheryn, she went. So yeah, I thought it was a really sweet story. However, I was concerned that they was 12 years old and they was catching taxis and traveling all over town, squatting in houses and spending the night, looking for some magical woman in black. That's some grown stuff right there. The way that they was talking was grown. They was having like grown conversations. They was talking marriage, okay? These are 12-year-old girls. They are a different breed. This is more of a book for someone younger. But yeah, it was cute. So I'm gonna give Hurricane Child a C+. Last thing I want to share with you is a photo book. And this is a photo book, and in it, it has testimonials and poems and short essays, basically about the struggles and learning how to accept their body. So it's a celebration of different types of bodies. I'm not gonna grade this one because this is on a different level than that, but I just wanted to share that with y'all. So yeah, those are the books that I've read. I am gonna have another video coming out soon that says what I am currently reading right now. Yeah. Alright, y'all. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. Whatever you decide to do, I appreciate you. Alright, be blessed.